Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math.
Hi, I'm Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math. And today we're going to learn about percent problems, and we're going to solve each problem around to the nearest tenth or tenth of a percent. So if I was given this problem here, what percent of 29 is 3? So what percent of 29 is 3? Well, what I need to do is take my number 3, last part here, divide it by 29 to get decimal. Okay? So what percent of 29 is 3? Well, 3 divided by 29, my calculator comes out to be approximately 0.10345. Okay? So 3 divided by 29 is approximately 0.10345. I then need to multiply that number by 100 to get the percent. So I have 0.10345 times 100. Okay? That leaves me, or helps, what I can do is move the decimal place 2 points over, right? So I have 10.345, and again, this is an approximate answer, percent. Now they said round to the nearest tenth, right? Tenth of a percent. So I look at the 3. Okay, the 3, I see that the 4, right, is under 5. So the 3 stays the same, and so my approximate answer here is 10.3%. And that is my final answer. Okay? What percent of 33.5 is 21? Okay? Well, I would take that 21 and divide it by the 33.5. Okay? Well, use my calculator here. 21 divided by 33.5. That comes out to be, approximately, I'm going to round here, 0.626866. Okay? 62686. So there we are. We are doing that decimal. And so I need to convert that to a percent. Okay? So I multiply both sides, multiply that by 100. So I take the 0.626866 times by 100, which really I just moved the decimal place over 2 units, leaving me with 62.6866%. Okay? Well, now I need to round that to the nearest tenth. And so that 6 looks at the 8. The 8 raises it up 1 unit, all right, rounds it up. So we're left with approximately final answer here of 62.7%. Okay? So what percent of 33.5 is 21? It's 62.7%. What percent of 55 is 34? Okay? Well, I want to take that number 34, the last one, and divide by the first number, 55. So what percent of 55 is 34? Okay? So we look at a calculator here. 34 divided by 55 comes out to be approximately, no, we're going to do equal here, equal 0.618. Then it goes 1, 8, repeating, 1, 8 part. Okay? So 0.618618. I'm sorry, 6181818118. So we need to then take that number, right, and we need to convert that to a percent. That's what percent. So I'm going to take the 0.61818 repeating and multiply that by 100. What that leaves me here is I really move the decimal over 2 units. So I have 61.818%. Okay? But now I need to round that because they say round to the nearest tenth. So I look at the 8. 8 looks to the right here. No, I'm repeating. Right? 8 looks to that 1. 1 causes the 8 to round down to keep it at 8. And so our final answer is approximately, because we're rounding here, 61.8%. 41% of 78 is what? Let's put W there. Is what? Okay. Well, first thing I want to do is convert. So 41% of 78 is what? What does that equal? Well, 41%. 41%. If I want to write that as a decimal, right? If I want to write 41% as a decimal, that's 0.41. Okay, I can move the decimal place 2 units to the left. So 40.41, right? 41%, 40.41 of 78. Well, that's going to be multiplied, right? So times 78 here, multiplied by 78 is, I don't know what. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to find. We're going to take the 0.41 and multiply by 78. Okay, so that comes out to be 0.41 times 78, 31.98 right there. Okay, 31.98. But I need to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So this one's a tricky one. I look at, there's a 9 there, right? So if the 9 gets rounded up, it really causes the next digit up is, this becomes a 2 and that becomes a 0, okay? So we look to the right of the 9 and we see that there's an 8. That 8 causes the 9 to round up. That 9 rounds up here, rounds up, making that 1 becoming a 2, and that 9 then moves up the next 1/10, which is a 0, okay? So our final answer here, and it's rounded, so we can put it approximately. I'm sure your teacher probably doesn't care, to be honest. It's just nitpicking out for me. But our final answer is approximately 32.0, okay? And what that 0.0 does, it really shows that you did round up from the nearest tenth, okay? 28% of 63 is what? Okay, 28% of 63 is what? I'm going to take that 20% and convert it into a decimal. So we have 0.28 of 63, so multiplied by 63 is what? So what is that 0.28 times 63? We get a 17.64. Okay? 17.64. But then they asked us here to round to the nearest tenth. So look, this 6, the 6 and the 4, right? The 4 doesn't cause the 6 round up, it stays where it is, right? Rounds down. And so our final answer is approximately 17.6. And that's where we round to the nearest tenth. 58% of what is 63.4. Okay? So 58% of what is 63.4. Okay? So what they're asking us here is we look at 58%. So 58% of what? So 50, if I convert that to a decimal, I'll convert that to a decimal first, the 58%. So 58% converts to a decimal to be 0.58 of what our variable is 63.4. So that's really what they're asking us here. 0.58, 58% of what is 63.4. We solve that, I can divide by 0.58 to both sides, leaving me with an x over here on the left, and then on the right, what's 63? 63.4 divided by 0.58, which gives me here 109.3103. That's approximately, I'm rounding it. Okay? So then from there, I need to then find, okay, the rounding here. Look at the 3, look at the 1. 1 causes the 3 to stay the same. And so my final answer is really that what is approximately 109.3. Okay? So 58% of 109.3 is 63.4. 1 is what percent of 52.6, okay? So 1 is what percent of 52.6? Well, let's go see if we can write an equation out of this. 1 is equal sign what percent, right? So we're going to have a question mark on the percent here, of multiplied by 52.6. I guess we only need the question mark. There's what percent. So 1 times a percent, 1 equals a percent times 52.6. So let's make that percent a variable here. So 1 equals x times 52.6. So to solve that, I'm going to divide by 52.6 to both sides. Leaving me, use my calculator here. 1 divided by 52.6. We're left with a decimal of 0.01901. Approximately is equal to x, which is left there. We can rewrite this, have x comes first. So, and convert that to a, let's convert to a percent first. Convert to a percent, multiply that by 100, we have 1.901 is approximately equal to x. And if I wanted to round that, look at the 9 and then the 0, right? Then 0 causes 9 to stay the same. So this is a percent, by the way, right? Multiplied by 100. So we're left with 1.9% is approximately equal to x. But we can write that nice and neat, having the x come first. So x is approximately equal to 1.9%. And that's my final answer. What percent of 38 is 15? Well, let's see if I can write this one here. I know other ones I've done. I just kind of showed you 15 divided by 38. But what we need to do here, let's see if we make an equation out of it. So what percent of multiplied 38 is 15? So what percent of 38 is equal to 15? Well, if I'm going to solve that, it was like a variable, like an x percent there, right? What percent? I have to divide by 38 to both sides, right? Because there's multiplication here, to get x percent by itself. So that x percent by itself is, well, I need to find it, what it's equal to. Well, I use my calculator here. 15 divided by 38 comes out to be a 0.39474. That's rounded. But that's not a percent, that's my decimal. I need to convert that to a percent. So to do that, I'm going to multiply that by 100, move the decimal place 2 points over to the right, so we have an x percent is approximately equal to, well, here, 39.474%. And so if we're going to round that, I don't really need the x percent, which we know it's a percent here, right? So I'm going to kind of, well, I'll leave it, but the final one I'll take it out. We look at the 4 and the 7. The 7 causes the 4 to round up to a 5. Okay, so when we round to the nearest tenth, we're left with x is approximately, what we're looking for here, 39.5%. And that's a rounded answer. 4% of 73 is what? Okay, so 4% of 73 is what? Well, that 4%, right, I'm going to make that into, convert that to a decimal, right? So really, what I can do is that 4% I'll write as a decimal, so 0.04, hopefully you can do that fast. So 4% of 73 times 73 is what? That's what we want to find, that x, right? So 4% or 0.04, right? Converted that in our first step here. 73 is what? X, okay? So let's solve that. What's 0.04 times 73? Well, this is my calculator here. 0.04 times 73 comes out to be a 2.92. So 2.92 is equal to x. Okay, right there. Well, let's go write it. So we'll write it right now. X coming first. So we have x is equal to 2.92. It looks nicer. But now I need to round to the nearest tenth. So look at the 9 and the 2. The 9 is where that could change, and the 2 causes that. So the 2 causes the 9 to stay where it is. And so, because it's less than 5. So if x here is approximately equal to 2.9. And what that does is to answer our question here. It says 4% of 73 is 2.9, approximately. What is 12% of 17.5? Okay, so what is 12% of 17.5? So let's go write this into an equation. X, what is 12% of multiplied 17.5? Okay, first thing, let's convert that 12% to a decimal. So we have X equals 12% is 0.12 times 17.5. I then use my calculator here to solve that 12 or 0.12 times 17.5. So 0.12 times 17.5 comes out to be 2.1. So X is equal to 2.1. Okay, 2.1 there. And that actually, we go to round it, right? We look at the nearest tenth. There's nothing to the right, so it doesn't change it. So I'll always rewrite it here, but nice and big. Didn't have to do anything else. 2.1 was our final answer. X was 2.1. So it answers the question. 2.1 is 12% of 17.5. I was given this problem. 79% of 67 miles is what? Okay, so 79% of 67 miles is what? Okay, so let's see if I can write this into an equation. 79% of multiplied 67 is what? That's our variable x there. Okay, now we're in miles. So I need to convert 79% to a decimal to multiply it out. So I have 0.79 times 67 equals x, right? And then I'm going to use my calculator here. Was 0.79 times 67 comes out to be 52.93. So 52.93 equals x. Okay, let's write x to come first. X equals 52.93. That looks nicer. Now we need to round it. Round, look at the 9 and the 3. The 3 causes the 9 to stay where it is. So we have x is approximately 52.9. Now, our units, 9 what? Miles, right? Can't forget that. Miles. So our final answer here is x is approximately 52.9 miles. And it answers the question here. 79% of 67 miles is 52.9 miles. What is 59% of 14 meters? Okay, so what is 59% of 14 meters? Well, let's see if we can write this into an equation. What, take the variable x here, is 59%, right, is equal sign, 59% of multiplication here, 14 meters. Okay, so let's see if we can write this out. Let's convert the 59% to be decimal. So x is 59 being 0.59 times 14 meters. Okay. Well, we use our calculator here. We convert, multiply the 15 or 0.59, 0.59 times 14 gives me x equals 8.26 meters. But now I need to round that to the nearest tenth. Okay, so look at the 2 and the 6. The 6 causes the 2 to round up to a 3. So we're left with x is approximately 8.3 meters. That is our final answer. It answers the question. Say 8.3 meters is 59% of 14 meters. 112 minutes is 76% of what? So 112 minutes is 76% of what? So let's make this into an equation. 112 minutes is equal sign 76% of multiplication what? Variable x. Okay. So 112 minutes is 76% of what? Make that x. So now our units are minutes here. So our final answer is going to be minutes. So let me rewrite this just to be our numbers here. So we have 112 equals, now what's 76% as a decimal? We make it as a 0.76. We move the decimal place over 2 units to the left, right? That will be right there, times x. And now we need to divide both sides multiplication by 0.76. And that should give us, let's use our calculator here. If I can recognize my fingerprint. 112 divided by 0.76 comes out to be 147.368 approximately is equal to x. I rounded that. Okay, and so now we need to round this again. And so they ask us to the nearest tenth, so I look at the 3. The 6 causes the 3 to round up to a 4. So we have 147.4 is approximately equal to x. And to write nice and neat, we'll have x come first, so x is approximately 147.4, and that is my final answer. What is 16% of 43 minutes? So 16% of 43 minutes. Well, I first need to take that and convert it into a equation. Oh my goodness, drawing a blank here. So what x is equal sign 16% of multiplication 43 minutes. Let's rewrite this percent to be a decimal. So we have x is equal to 16% is decimal, and move that over in the decimal over 2 units to get me 0.16 here, right? Times 43. I can leave the units, minutes here. Pretty easy. So now I need to multiply that out. What's 16% or 0.16 times 43? And that comes out to be x equals 6.88. Now notice I didn't put an approximate here because when I multiplied that out, the 0.1643 times 43, it didn't round at all. The calculator just gave me 6.88, so I kept it an equal sign. My next one here, I'm going to make that an approximate because I'm rounding. I'm looking at this 8 here and the 8 to the right. That 8 on the right causes the 8 on the left, right, just before the decimal point, to round up. So it leaves me here with x is equal, approximately, rounding 6.9 minutes. Don't forget my units, Sean. And there we go. $73 is what percent of $125? Question mark. Okay? So let's see if we make an equation out of this. $73 is equal sign what x percent, right, whatever the x percent, of multiplication $125. Okay? So now let's go solve that. If I divide both sides by 125, okay, I'm kind of going to get rid of the units. I know my and answer is my percent, but the units kind of cancel. You can think of it like that. So if I divide both sides by the dollar signs, you can almost imagine the dollars cancel. But what's 73 divided by 125? I'm going to take my fingerprint. 73 divided by 125 is 0.584, and that's equal to x. Okay, so let's rewrite that to put x coming first. So x is equal to 0.584. And now I need to convert that to a percent. To do that, I'm going to move the decimal place over 2 units, 1, 2, leaving me with x is equal to 58.4%. And there we go. That's our final answer. We don't need to round. It's already rounded to the, not even rounded at all, but we already have the tenths place there. There's nothing to the right of it. And so we have a final answer of 58.4%, which answers the question. $73 is 58.4% of $125. What is 90% of 130 inches? So what is 90% of 130 inches? Well, let's write this as an equation. X, my what, is equal sign 90% of multiplication 130 inches. Okay? Well, let's convert that 90% to a decimal. So X stays there, equals 90% as a decimal is just 0.90. We kind of move that decimal that's right there over 2 units to the left, right? And so we have 0.90 times 130 inches. I'm going to leave my units there. It's okay. So now what's 0.90, 90%? 0.90, or 0.9 times 130. Leave me with 117. So X is equal to 117 inches. And do I need a round here? No. We don't even have a tenth unit. It's a whole number, right? So X is 117 inches. No need to even put a decimal and then it's 0 there because we actually didn't round that. Generally, that's a clue. If you have that point and then the 0 says, oh, we had something there and we rounded it. Here, no, it's 117 whole. Good to go. So that answers our question. 117 inches is 90% of 130 inches. What is 68% of 118 tons? So what is 68% of 118 tons? So let's write this as an equation. What X is equal sign 68% of multiplication 118 tons. Well, 68%, I can convert that to a decimal, right, by moving the units to the decimal that's right here, right, that period right there, 2 units to the left, leaving with X is 0.68 times 118 tons. Then from there, I use my calculator to multiply what's 0.68 times 118, so 0.68 times 118, and think to yourself, this number has to be less than 118, right, because we're multiplying by a number that's less than 1, or between 0, most importantly, 0 and 1. And it is, it's 80.24, so X is equal to 80.24 tons. But then they asked us to round to the nearest tenth. So look at the 2 and the 4. The 4 causes the 2 to stay where it is, or round down, if you will. And so our final answer is a rounded answer. X is approximately 80.2 tons. Okay? And so that answers our question. 80.2 tons is 68% of 118 tons. What percent of 108.4 minutes is 25.7 minutes? Okay? So what percent of 180.4 minutes is 25.7 minutes? So let's write this as an equation. What X percent of multiplication 180.4 minutes is equal sign 25.7 minutes? Okay? Well, I need to divide both sides here, right? It's multiplication, so I'm going to divide both sides by 180.4 minutes. So dividing by 180.4 minutes to both sides leaves me with my X here. I don't need it as a percent, so it's equal right now. Equals, what's 25.7? 25.7 divided by 180.4. This is a rounded answer. So 0.1426. Okay? Now notice I can eliminate the units minutes. They cancel out there as well, right? And so we're left with X is approximately 0.14246. I need to convert that to a percent, so remove that decimal, 2 units to the left, right, leave me with X is approximately, still here, 0, sorry, not 0, it's a percent now, 14.246%. Then from there, all right, from there, I need to round with the nearest tenth. So look at the 2 and the 4. The 4 causes the 2 to stay where it is, doesn't change. And so my final answer is x is approximately 14.2%. So that answers the question. 14.2% of 180.4 minutes is 25.7 minutes. 16 inches is 35% of what? So 16 inches is 35% of what? Well, let's write that as an equation. 16 inches is equal sign 35% of multiplication what? X. Okay? Well, let's convert this, right? We convert our percent to a decimal. So 35% is 0.35 times x, and we have 16 inches here. If we divide both sides by 0.35, we're left with, well, what's 16 divided by 0.35? We have 45, this is approximate, 45.7143 rounded. Is approximately equal to x. We can write x to come first, and that's inches. So x can come first. X is approximately 45.7143 inches, right? But then I need to round that to the nearest tenth. So we look at the 7 and the 1. The 1 causes the 7 to stay where it is. So my true rounding here is x is approximately 45.7 inches. And there we go. That answers our question. 16 inches is 35% of 45.7 inches. 90% of 54.4 hours is what? Okay, so I have to write that as an equation. So 90% of multiplication 54.4 hours is equal sign what? X. Okay, well 90% converts to be a decimal, to be 0.90. So 0.90 times 54.4 hours equals X. Well, what's 90 times 54.4? So use our calculator. 0.9 times 54.4 is 48.96 hours equals X. Okay. Well, we have to rewrite that. Have X come first because that looks nice and neat. So X equals 48.96 hours. Still an equal sign because that was an exact answer, but they asked us to round to the nearest tenth or tenth of percent. So we look at the 9 and the 6. The 6 causes the 9 to round up, but with 9 going up, it really goes up to 10, which causes this 8 to go up to a 9, and this 9 to go to a 0. So when we round up, X is approximately here 49.0 hours. And what that shows, that 0.0, don't just write 49, but 49.0. Okay, that shows that you did round, right? You had to round right there, and they ended up with a 0 there. It's kind of a little clue. Okay, so we go to approximate answer of 49 hours, 49.0 hours as our final answer, which answers the question. 90% of 54.4 hours is 49.0 hours. 140 feet is 97% of what? So 140 feet is 97% of what? Let's make that into equation. 140 feet is equal sign 97% of multiplication what? X. Okay? Well, 97%, we can convert that to a decimal. So I'll rewrite this 140 feet equals 0.97, right? 0.97 being 97% times X. Then, to get rid of that 0.97, bring it to the left, get isolate X. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.97. Leaves me, I don't know if I'm rounding yet, think I will be, but 140, use my calculator, divided by 0.97. Yeah, I will be rounding. Let's write it out first. 144.3299 feet is approximately equal to x. Okay? Right, make sure there's the right decimal there. We good to go. So rewrite and x come first. So x is approximately 144.3299 feet. But now we need to round that to the nearest tenth of a percent. So we look at the 3 and the 2. The 2 causes the 3 to stay where it is. Okay, doesn't change it. So we have x here is approximately 144.3 feet. That's when we round it to our nearest tenth. So that answers our question here. 140 feet is 97% of 144.3 feet. What is 170% of 97 tons? Okay. Well, first let's make this into an equation. What x is equal sign 170% right here of multiplication 97 tons. Okay. Well, that 170%, I need to convert that to a decimal. Okay, so x is 107% is 1.70. Remember that the decimal that's right there, right? We move that 2 units to the left, and we have 1.70 times 97 tons. Okay. From there, 97, we have to multiply that out. So let's use our calculator here. So 1.70 times 97 tons is x equals 164.9 tons. And here, there was no need to round. That was the answer we're given. It's to the nearest tenth. There's nothing to the right. So that's our final answer. X is equal to 164.9 tons. So that answers the question. 164.9 tons is 170% of 97 tons. What is 103% of 127 tons? Okay. Well, I need to first convert that to an equation. So my what is x is equal sign 103% of multiplication 127 tons. Okay. Well, I need to convert that 103% to a decimal. So to do that, I keep the x down here. 103 is 1.03 as a decimal, right? If there's a period there or a decimal, we have 2 units to the left, multiplied by 127 tons, right there. Then I need to multiply that out. What's 1.03 times 127? So 1.03 times 127. That's equal to 130. So we have x is equal to 130. Well, I'm in a decimal, 0.81 tons. Okay. So 130 times 0.81 tons. I need to round that, right? They said round to the nearest tenth. And that was just equal. There was no rounding going on there in my calculator. So 8 and the 1 causes the 8 to stay where it is. So I'm left with x is equal to 130.8 tons. And that is an equal sign. That's actually approximate, right? Because I just rounded. Okay. So we have x is approximately equal to 130. I'm going to write it 3 right. Oh my goodness, I'm making it worse. It's making this whole thing worse. Let's just rewrite that because it's annoying now. So we have 130.8 tons, and it's not much better, but it's okay. So x is approximately equal to 130.8 tons, and that answers our question. 130.8 tons is 103% of 127 tons. 102 hours is 94% of what? So 102 hours is 94% of what? Well, I need to write that as an equation. So I'm going to write 102 hours is equal sign 94% of multiplication of what? X. Okay. First thing, I need to convert that percent to a decimal. So I have 102 hours here equals 94% is 0.94 as a decimal, and that's being multiplied by x. From there, I need to divide 0.94 to both sides, leaving me with, well, let's see what our calculator here says. 102 divided by 0.94, which comes out to be 108.5106 hours, is approximately, because I rounded there, approximately, if I can write that, equal to x. Good. Then from there, I'm going to x come first, so x, because it looks nicer, is approximately 108.5106 hours. Okay, so now I need to round that, round to the nearest tenth, right? So the 5 and the 1 causes the 5 to stay where it is, right? It doesn't round, it rounds down. So we have x is approximately 108.5 hours. That's our rounded answer. That's our final answer. And it answers our question here if 102 hours is 94% of 108.5 hours.
Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute Math. Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.